Evening and welcome to the transmission. Mokiwugwale from wherever you're watching. As I always say, we all have a role to play. I am just playing mine, and you could play yours as well. Moki Bugbualaka Kiribiti Olukalukuawa. We're different places around the world, and we are all going to be all representing ourselves, as we all know. So good evening once again, and welcome to the transmission where we've just started. Mofi Tolong Beledumari, Mofi Tubki Arami Modeki, the family. As I always say, we can't do this without the family. Family is very, very important. And it is the family that makes this happen. So for those of you that have joined us, I say good morning or good evening, depending on what part of the world you're watching from. This is a live transmission. And as we are just going to be going into it, there will be a lot that we're going to talk about as well. So let's still enjoy this from Oloyegbo, as we always say. Once again, a very good morning and welcome to the program. We're just starting. Moki gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí pé àtúnkálẹ̀ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò náà. Ètò tí we look from the international perspective, which is the key. I looked at things from what the world are saying, especially with the crisis going on in Niger. What is the view of the US on Mofegbeye Wolale? Kill America ma ṣe sórí ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà nílẹ̀. What is their own take? What is America's take on the crisis in the West Africa? Mo kí wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí pé ẹ káalẹ́. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ ti darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. Mo kí ìyá tó bí mi lọ́mọ. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo kí àwọn ìyàwó mi àtàwọn ọmọ. Mo kí àwọn mọ̀lẹ́bí. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin Koikimedia listeners. Bẹ́ẹ̀ tí ṣe ń wọlé náà ni mo rí. I am still. Hello. Taking it. No, I send a link and say move camera up and then later. So there's a lot to discuss tonight, and it's almost a bit late as well. But we will crack on it. And some of you might probably not be able to watch the live transmission. You might probably watch the repeated. I want your man feel live, but the problem is I can't give you a time that I'm coming out because I have a lot of things that I do all the time. So giving you a time is like very, very difficult. Let me put it that way. Oh, making us a quick bye ni mo ma jáde, but I can't. Torí tí bá sọ fún pé ìjọba ni ma jáde mo kí ìyá wa Beauty àmọ̀ pé tí ń bá lọ jáde ní time yẹn á dàbí ìgbà tí mò ń disappoint ẹ̀yin followers wa. So that's why I've decided to always just say that ẹni tó bá live it's okay, ẹni tó bá dẹ̀ bá live ẹ wo repeated version. Èmi ń follow gbogbo tí international news ń sọ lórí Niger, their perspective, but perspective America ni mo fẹ́ mú jáde lálẹ́. Kí l'America gangan sọ? Torí pé America is the Baba Igbo when it comes to the world. Even though pé àwọn èèyàn ti ń challenge America nísìn, especially àwọn Russia, àwọn náà ti ń challenge Russia, ó ti ń challenge America. Ṣé proxy war ni ìjà tó fẹ́ wálẹ̀ yìí? Ṣé ìjà yẹn máa wá àbí kò ní wáyé? Gbogbo ẹ̀ ni mo fẹ́ bá yín sọ lálẹ́. Kí ló ní ṣe pẹ̀lú Yorùbá nation? It has a lot láti ṣe pẹ̀lú Yorùbá nation, quite a lot. So gbogbo ẹ̀ náà la máa review lálẹ́. Ṣé farabalẹ̀ kẹ́ jókòó ká gbádùn ètò náà. Mo kí bàbá wa Banji Akintoye, bàbá lálùbáríkà. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo kí bàbá wa Chief Banji Ayiloge. Bí ti ṣe ń kí gbogbo àwọn bàbá yẹn, mo kí gbogbo àwọn bàbá tó ń bẹ lábẹ́ wọn tí wọ́n ń jẹ́ kí iṣẹ́ Yorùbá nation máa tẹ̀síwájú. Mo ní mi ní last man standing, torí pé mi máa fún yín from the international perspective lórí ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation. Bó bá ń rẹ̀ a máa dìde. Wọ́n dẹ̀ ní kò ń rẹ́ odò ni, torí pé iṣẹ́ ta gbé dání a ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ni. Àìtẹ̀ tí débì kankan rárá, so kò gbọ́dọ̀ tí rẹ̀ wá rárá. We must continue the campaign. Journey Elédùmarè ni. Àwọn kan ní kò ní wá sáyé, mo ní ṣọ́ṣọ́. Àwọn kan níjọ́ ló máa dé, mo ní àti wà lẹ́nu ẹ̀. Àwọn kan ní ẹ ti promise wa kò tí ì dé, mo ní ó kù díẹ̀. Bá fẹ́ bá kọ̀, Yorùbá máa bọ́nu oko ẹrú. Bọ́ká tó bọ́nu oko ẹrú, a lot of things will happen. So many things will happen. And part of that is gbogbo tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní gbogbo àgbáyé tá à ń rí. Freedom ń ṣe tán máa ń fúnyàn lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́. Ẹ máa tiraka, ẹ máa tiraka, ẹ máa tiraka títí tó máa fi wá sí ìmúṣẹ. Àwọn kan tẹ̀ ti give up. Wọ́n náwọn ò ṣe mọ́, wọ́n ní because ìǹtẹ̀gbé dání àwọn ò rí òtítọ́ nínú ẹ̀. Mo ní kò mátà. Bẹ́yìn bá give up, títí tó máa fi wá sí ìmúṣẹ. Àwọn ò give up. Yorùbá nation òun nìkan ló lè jẹ́ ká rí lọ síwájú. Aago 12 ṣẹ̀fẹ̀ lù, ìyẹn lóru 12 midnight la wà nísìn. So we see how far we can go with the program. Àwo bó bá ṣe lọ sí, but nǹkan kan tí mo fẹ́ kó yé wa ni pé it does not matter what anybody say. Ẹ lè dá journey Yorùbá nation dúró. It is too late. It is a journey that we will complete, whether you like it or not. It is a movement. And this movement is the final solution. It is a lot Yorùbá nation because Buhari isn't going to give Tinubu a breathing space. What in push it Tinubu gan báyìí, but kóun gan wá ṣe kíni, ó gbọ́dọ̀ fi làákàyè sí ogun tó wà nílẹ̀ báyìí. But tí Tinubu bá níwọ̀n fi làákàyè sí, kí la máa ṣe sí báyìí? Sí nǹkan tá máa ṣe sí o. So, but àwọn ò ní give up. Mo kí gbogbo èèyàn wa ní gbogbo platforms, and I think we have one more platform to go, and then I'll go live officially. preambles ní gbogbo eléyìí tí mo ṣe ń ṣe yìí. Mo ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ program rárá. Mo ṣe ń prepare mind yín ni. Bí ti ṣe ń kí bàbá wa Oracle, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mò ń kí Ìgbòho Òòṣà dáadáa. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ní Ìgbòho ní kankan tó lè ọfà mọ́ lẹ́nu wọn. Mo ní ntí Ìgbòho fi ọfà ẹ̀ tí lè ọfẹ̀. Ìgbòho is the key to Yoruba nation. Ó tẹ̀lé bàbá wa Bàbá Lálùbáríkà. But so many people think that when we started 3 years ago, precisely, láàrin méjì ẹ̀, by now a ti sú wa. Irú àwa tátẹ̀ máa ń jáde lálálẹ́ báyìí. Wọ́n á ní kò ní lè jáde mọ́ lálẹ́. Oorun ló máa sùn. Ṣé ó yẹ kíyàn máa sùn pẹ̀lú gbogbo tó ń lọ ní gbogbo àgbáyé nísìn? Tó bá tẹ̀ ní kíyàn sùn, ṣó yẹ kí irú àwa máa sùn, irú mídíà tiwa máa sùn pẹ̀lú gbogbo tá à ń rí tó ń lọ tó wà níwájú wa báyìí? Kí la Amẹ́ríkà fẹ́? Kí ni Russia fẹ́? Kí ló ń fàjà gangan ná? Ó ṣe wá jẹ́ Áfíríkà ni wọ́n fi da gbogbo ẹ̀ lé lórí. Ta la ṣẹ̀? Gbogbo yẹn náà ni mo fẹ́ ká gbé yẹ̀wò lálẹ́. Wọ́n dẹ̀ ní ọgbọ́n lọ́gbọ́n la fi ń ṣe kíni? Ìwà mọ́gbọ́n tiẹ̀ wá, èmi á mú tèmi wá. Ọgbọ́n kan èèyàn kan kì í tán. Ìyẹn ló ṣe pé ní you continue with different brains. So brains tá à ń lò ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ ni. So mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí pé àtúkàbọ̀ sórí ètò. Bí ti ṣe ń kí ìyá tó bí mi lọ́mọ ni mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin ìyá lálùbáríkà, ẹ̀yin sisters wa, ẹ̀yin brothers wa. Èmi ló ń pè ní Koikimedia. Bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Ẹ jẹ́ ká play anthem wa ká tó máa tẹ̀síwájú. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí pé ẹ má bínú pé we were unable to do our program in the afternoon. Iṣẹ́ pọ̀ lọ́wọ́ mi díẹ̀ ni. But we are back again as usual. So we play the anthem and we go straight into the program. Orílẹ̀-èdè. Àgbéga. 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 Ìgbàgbọ́. Àti bẹ̀rù. Ìṣọ̀kan. Ìkẹjẹ́. Tẹ̀síwájú. Ọ̀pọ̀ ire. Àtòhun. Ọmọ Odùduwà. Bọ́ sí ipò. Ìwọ ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ ògo adúláwọ̀. Àwa ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ ògo adúláwọ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n sáré kí ẹ̀yin tí ẹ ti wà nínú ètò pẹ̀lú mi kó má dàbí ìgbà tí ẹni tó mọ̀ rí pé ṣó máa wá ní òrí wa lórí ìjókòó ni alákùnrin. Mo kí Mr. Peter, àwọn ló kọ́kọ́ darapọ̀ mọ́ wa ká tó parí ètò yẹn lẹ́ẹ̀kan torí mo tan kámẹ́rà. Mo tẹ̀ kọ́kọ́ fi tan kámẹ́rà tẹ́lẹ̀ but mo wá pé àwọn Yorùbá ní ojú lọ̀rọ̀ wà. So mo láti wá re-switch gbogbo system tá fẹ́ fi bẹ̀rẹ̀ program lálẹ́. Mo wá ní òkè ká tan kámẹ́rà. We have to just studio. Èèyàn máa ń change studio nígbà míì. Èèyàn máa change ẹ̀ láti fit narrative. Àwọn tó bá ń wò lórí Instagram, ẹni tó ń wò lórí TikTok, ẹ rí pé background yẹn gbogbo ẹ rí ìgẹ́ta síbi lálẹ́ ẹni tó ń pè ní studio nìyẹn. So ìgbà míì a máa ṣe kó bright, ìgbà míì a máa dim ẹ̀, ẹni tó ń pè ní studio nìyẹn. Mo lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mo kí màmá lọ kí briefly Mr. Ṣẹ́gun Awẹ́rẹ́, mo kí to Links Ọmọbọ́lájí, mo kí ẹ̀yìn ti United Arab Emirates, mo kí ìyá mi Elizabeth Adesanya, mo kí Mr. Peter Pan. You were the first person that joined us. Currently, Nigeria cannot win even against an ant. Some people don't think like that. Great Yoruba Nation on Instagram, good morning. Babami Samuel Afolabi, Adedayo Ibrahim, Mr. Tunde Samuel, Ayintewa Lori Mixelar, Muki Waris Jinadu, good morning. Muki Ayintewa Lori TikTok, Ayintewa Lori Instagram. So yaka she Twitter space no. Phone time of she mutewa charge sha. So I need a Twitter space. I want to charge a. So what we'll do is I'm a charge a lot. If you to charge it. Nígbà tí mo sì ní Nàìjíríà ni tó bá fẹ́ charge phone ẹ̀ wà lọ sọ́dọ̀ neighbor ẹ̀ wà fi phone síbẹ̀ wà lọ gbà láàárọ̀ tí emergency bá wà ẹni tó bá ti kú sínú ilé wọ́n ní mọ̀ pé wọ́n charge phone ni. So I'll be charging this one and hopefully we catch up later. Mo ṣe ní one spare phone kan tí mo ṣe lè lò again. So I was listening to so many news around the world. And I was looking at Mr. Solomon Adedoyin Moki, Mr. Moba Solex, and Mama Pick along the line, Beshem Wole. And the question on my lips was, are they going to avert the war? Abiogun Yama Waye. Kile Yiro. Chefi pe Ecowas ma lo jagun yen. Abinisin tí wọ́n ti gbé ẹni tó ní Nigeria lọ sí Niger. Maybe some of you don't know that Anthony Nigeria ti wà ní Niger báyìí. And I'm talking about the Sultan of Sokoto. The Sultan of Sokoto has arrived with Gowon in Niger as we speak right now. What ti wà ní Niger. So that means negotiation is still going on. Ẹ má bínú ọ̀yàn kan wọ́n ní ọ̀kan ń béèrè owó. So mo fẹ́ béèrè pé ṣé nínú group wa ni ká lè tètè mọ̀. So, because from 191 níta gan nísìn, ebi ń pa àwọn èèyàn. So they use every advantage that they have. Ẹ má bínú. So, do you think ǹjẹ́ gbogbo wa rò pé Niger máa back down? Do you think those that plotted the coup, are they going to back down or not? Mr. Emmanuel, good morning. Kí lẹ̀yin rò? Ṣé fi pọ̀ máa back down àbí they will play the last card? The World Bank has freezed owó tó yẹ kó fún wọn. There was a loan to the tune of about $370-something million. To what he approved later on the 5th. But owó yẹn ti hang in the same. So kí lẹ̀yin rò? Do you think that those that plot the coup, they will back down? Okay. All right. Kí lẹ̀yin rò? Do you think that they would back down? Kingsley, good morning. Kingsley said they will not back down. All right. Sonky, good morning to you. So if they're not going to back down, that means we are likely to see a confrontation between Ecowas and Republic of Niger. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n start the Twitter space yẹn lórí fóònù ìgbà yẹn. Let me start it from here. This phone is free there, anything. So if they're not going to back down, that means we are likely to see a confrontation between ECOWAS and also we are live on TikTok as well. So let me just see if I can start the Twitter space. Start Twitter space. So let's see. Hopefully this phone will hold. Once again, a very good morning and welcome. Kile Hero. This is a late night broadcast. Koikimedia. Lórí ọ̀rọ̀ Niger. Òní mo fẹ́ ká sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí. ECOWAS, US, Kile Hero, bó máa ṣẹlẹ̀. Are you concerned or you are not? Do you think that Tinubu would try to back down or the US would tell him not to back down? What is your own take? Moki Alaja Iran Lobade. Moki Ijaya. As the world is Mokimomi wa Sarah Oyelowo, Mr. Oyinrinde Taiwo, Moki Okpe, the Koikimedia backup team, Mr. Amzad, Abiodun Prince Adebayo, Femi Adeni, Ebenezer Shegun Moki Ogunyin. According to report, Abdusalam Day for Niger, yeah, he went with the presidential flight. Or the presidential aircraft, not flight. Moki Adams, Moki Mr. Lumide, and Toti Darapoma lórí Twitter. I share a link in Twitter space so you can always save data depending on where you want to watch me from. We're trying as much as possible so that as many of you there's a lot going on. So one on demonstrate against Bola Tinubu in Niger. It's a great time to be alive, to be witnessing all this that is happening today. Because the end result. Collins, whatever is happening today, we will find out, we will know what will be the end game of the West, Russia, and Africa. There's a lot going on. Even many people do not know what is going on. And this is why we are saying that a lot of things that is going on right now. Mr. Fab Mokensa. Ọlọ́run máa fáwọn lẹ́mìí gúngùn pẹ̀lú ògo Ọlọ́run tá máa fi rí gbogbo ohun tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí. I woke up very early yesterday and tó bá follow me lórí gbogbo platform. I handle my Twitter myself. So in Tebati post at any time, a minimum posted. Apart from other platform, team will manage, but a minimum handle Twitter. We are working on it so that maybe one of them or two of them will start helping out as well. I woke up about 4 o'clock in the morning yesterday. Mwalo saw Instagram. mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí wo gbogbo tó ń lọ lórí Instagram. From Instagram mo bọ́ sí orí Twitter. Látòrí Instagram mo píkì arákùnrin kan tó ń pè ní ẹ lè pè wọlé later but ẹ ká ṣe analysis there. Àmọ̀rọ́bà mo ń charge fóònù yẹn náà. Mo wá pàdé arákùnrin kan tó ń pè ní Thomas Sankara. Èèyàn mélòó ló mọ ẹni tó ń pè ní Thomas Sankara? How many people know the name Thomas Sankara? What do you know about him? Gbogbo ala ti máa ń gbọ́ orúkọ yẹn, but kí la mọ̀ nípa ẹ̀ gangan? There was a documentary that I watched based on a referral from somebody in a comment section. I love to go to the comment section in any post. From there, you will gauge what people are discussing. You will gauge the banter, the real discussion. So látara inú Thomas Sankara ni mo ti píkì máa fún wa ní orúkọ title in tí mo wò lórí YouTube. I posted it on my timeline. I posted it on our community on YouTube, just in case tabarento feel as well. But I'm going to give us a bit of what I read, or what I watched rather, when it comes to Thomas Sankara. Thomas Sankara was killed before he was 39 years old. Well, jẹ́ kó pé 39. I am already in my 40. And I think looking at our age today, we continue to pray. We call on fún alẹ́mí gúngùn pẹ̀lú àwọn òbí wa. Backup team ń sọ pé he died on October 15, 1987. Date of birth, December 21st, 1949. Wọ́n jẹ́ kó pé 39 years old before he was killed by those he trusted. So táwọn kan bá wá ń jáde léni tán ní àwọn kan ń dalẹ̀. What I saw in that particular movie, or not a movie, was a documentary anyway. Mo fẹ́ gbórúkọ documentary yẹn jáde ní sùúrù. Ìyàn kan ti kọ́ líbẹ̀ yẹn lẹ́ẹ̀kan ráhùn pé Waris ti bá mi kọ́ sí ìtàn bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. It's called The Upright. I might not be able to play it torí pé mi kọ́ mo ní documentary yẹn. The documentary was 9 years ago. Mo fẹ́ mú wa lọ sí memory lane díẹ̀, because tá a bá ní understanding ibi tí àwọn kan ti ń bọ̀, a lè mọ ibi tí wọ́n ń lọ, and we might get angry with them and say, kí ló dé tí eléyìí ń ṣẹlẹ̀, kí ló dé tí kan bá ń ṣẹlẹ̀. It's because àwọn ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ tá à ń rí yìí nísìn is based on history. All I can say from the title of the documentary is called Thomas Sankara, The Upright Man, YouTube. African News, lẹ́ni tó posted 9 years ago. Over 329,000 people have watched it. Waris said he was a nationalist that stood up against France. I've been following a lot of press around the world. Wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ nípa tó ń lọ ní Niger. By the Miller, I pray all of Africa is blessed with freedom from all outside influencer. The American especially. My president is okay with cocaine use in the White House. Joe Biden sweeps cocaine issue under. Okay. They say there's no sound on Twitter space. Ó tẹ̀ ti disconnect our gun self. Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? Kò sí sound kẹ̀. Mo mute mic me now. Multi switch on, but again, I didn't know what happened there. I thought the mic was on. Mama been okay. Let me then share a link in Latin. All right, it's back on now. Etuba me confirm again. Enter to our Twitter space, but the mic is on. Mr. Peter Nee, sometimes I feel this Western world give our mumu leaders injection and make them total mumu. When I was watching that documentary, I kept asking myself, if Thomas Sankara was still alive to complete what he had to do, where would that part of Burkina Faso, Nibuloma Waleni? I'm talking about Thomas Sankara. If he was alive, tó bá yẹ pé wọ́n rí pa, kí lẹ rò kó máa ṣẹlẹ̀? Mo kí ìyàwó Agbémilékè ẹ̀ka lẹ́mà, mo kí mọ́mí wa Comfort, mo kí Kentos, mo kí ẹ̀ǹtí Manchester. If Thomas Sankara was still alive, tó bá yẹ pé wọ́n pa, what do you think that part of Africa would be like? Because all I saw was only àníwọ̀ṣọ tó máa rán wá láti West, aṣọ tiwa la máa wọ̀, ó plant igi tó pọ̀ rẹpẹtẹ, ó beat gbogbo any other president around the world. Ó ṣe vaccine. Within 6 months, 2 million people were vaccinated. A lot of things he did. And tó bá lọ wo documentary le máa ní understanding it, but èmi kàn fún ní a bit of the perspective. But there was something he said at the OAU, which was the last OAU he attended. OAU stands for Organization of African Union. OAU ló ń pè nígbà yẹn, ó dà pọ̀ ti change ẹ̀ nísìn, ó dà pọ̀ náà ló ń jẹ́ AU nísìn. Must be mórí ẹ̀ kó ṣe takuntakun sá. Mo kí mọ́mí wa Ramatusa. I hope I pronounce that name very well, because correct me, maybe I'm going to pronounce it well or not. It might be nothing but pronounce it that. Mr. Smith Taiwo Moki. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ èèyàn mọ̀ pé àwa kan máa dìde láti ṣerú nǹkan tá à ń ṣe. But in tá à ń ṣe is not new, because it is something that some people have done before in a different ways. Ó sọ fún wọn nínú OAU meeting yẹn pé a ní san loan kankan mọ́, but òun ní kọ́kọ́ lòun máa sọ if everyone agree together. Everybody laughed about it. But he said something there that was very, very touching. He said that tó bá jẹ́ òun nìkan lòun máa sọ pé a ní san loan fún àwọn ìjọba àgbáyé, a ní san loan kankan mọ́. Only if I am the only one that say it, I will not attend the next OAU summit. And he never did. He was killed. Now, let's take our mind off that Thomas Sankara, because what is happening now is the same Burkina Faso, according to what we have today, again is back into the hands of military, one way or the other. And maybe I should just be, so that I don't bust my head. So I take a look at Burkina Faso. What we know about Burkina Faso, I tell us in Niger, àkọ́kọ́ fẹ́ mú wá láti bẹ̀yẹn ká wá link ẹ̀ mọ́ into lọ ní Niger. Burkina Faso has 22 million population, according to the World Bank, as of 2021. Mo kí Mr. Sholamide Olaiwola lórí TikTok. As of 2021, Burkina Faso have 21 million in population. But they've gone through a lot in the last couple of years now. So Burkina Faso seems to be very close to Mali. It's close to Niger. But they are ready to back Niger if Ecowas decide to attack Republic of Niger. Very good morning to you, Mr. Shegun Ono. Ayo, already good morning to you. DZ123, I'm going to touch about something that might be of interest to you tonight, and that is the 61 billion project between the UK and the Gulf. And these are the reason why they don't want us to have our own independent country. I'm going to touch on that if time permits. Though I want to do a full program on that, but if time permits, I'll touch on it. Now, many people around the world are talking about the current state of situation in Niger. Good morning once again. I'll try and speak in English so that I can carry along as many of our Biafra brothers that might not understand Yoruba, but I will be speaking Yoruba in between the program so that they are just aware. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn are monitoring the current situation of what is going on in West Africa. I've been listening to the German news. As I speak to you right now, France 24 has been disconnected. There is no transmission beaming out of Niger by France 24. I believe from what they are saying that they've now stopped transmission from Niger. These are the media network that are telling the lies in their own narrative until things started changing rapidly in the last week. The topic tonight wants to focus more on America. What is the stake? I will tell you, I've listened to Anthony Blinken. Majority of you might not know him, and some of you might know him. That's why we say go on Twitter and make sure you follow us so that we can tell you when you are tagging people, those that you continue to tag. Anthony Blinken is the Secretary of State. He spoke some few hours ago at the United Nations floor. And I'll tell you exactly what he said by playing that clip, but it's going to come as an audio version. Two things he was focusing on tonight: the grain, which there's a blockage in the Black Sea. So blockage, Russia has an agreement with Ukraine. Ukraine export the largest wheat in the world, very close. They might not be number one, but I believe they are number 2 or 3. And since the war has broken out between Ukraine and Russia, Russia had an agreement how they will continue to move the grains so that me and you can continue to eat bread. So that was part of the discussion by Anthony Blinken. And also questions were asked. Where Gongola America drew Lori, what is America's interest in the war that is about to break out? Is America going to support? Yesterday, if you listen to me on Niger Voices, I gave you the perspective of what the United Nations seems to be saying. And what the United Nations is doing is they're trying to step back and allow Ecowas to push. That is what I saw from United Nations. I don't want to go into United Nations again tonight. If you missed that program, you go back to 2nd of August, and you'll find that video there titled United Nations. But tonight, it's all about What role is the US government playing when it comes to the Niger coup and Ecowas? 3 days left, 72 hours. Bola Tinubu, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, have sent representative, the same bastard Gowon, that says it was a little fracas. And not a video, you remember that video I normally play you when we're using a full software program. Tonight, we're not using a full software. We're using different machine from the mobile phone to stream tonight. Erotically, Gowon says he prayed that Nigeria will still exist even after he died. He will not die yet because Yoruba Nation and Biafra will exit the contraction that he created when they were killing millions of Igbos. Do you know that history am I about to play back? Some of you probably don't know that. I'll tell you. This time, 1967, Biafra was fighting the British government. It was not a fight between Nigeria and Igbos. It was between the British and the Biafra or the Igbos. Is the history about to play back, but in a different format from Niger to Nigeria, backed up by America and France and Britain. If you go back and go on Google, so let's go and give you a background quickly. Biafra War. So I can tell you exactly, because I knew that, because I knew from July that what you were in Ogun. So the Nigerian Civil War, they call it the Nigerian Civil War, according to Wikipedia, started on the 6th of July, 1967, and lasted for 3 years. Are we going into another war? But this time around, maybe our thinking, especially our Yoruba, we were thinking that maybe it will be a war between the federal government and the Biafra again. But it might now be between the Nigerian government and 3 to 4 different West African nations coming together, and then it might become boom. And that will split. And let me say something. Anytime there's a war, that's when there's a new border that is created. It's either they defeat them and Nigeria take control of that region. And within that period, the internal problem that is in Nigeria will continue to also explode itself. So our mind, when I was shouting that I didn't even know that it might not be us that is going to start the fight. Then people were like, this guy is crazy. How can you sit in London and be saying there's going to be war and you keep your family there? But this time around, even my family is in Nigeria. Because if ECOWAS pull the first trigger, take it or leave it, the first thing that also, not that those countries are as powerful as Nigeria, we should be factual with this. But when it comes to guerrilla warfare, you don't know where the target will be. Some of you must start thinking now that if the Nigerian or ECOWAS, let me not use Nigeria so that it doesn't look like we're pushing the weight on Nigeria. I'll just use ECOWAS. Should ECOWAS pull the first trigger, Third Milan Bridge might be bombed. It's as simple as that. Look, don't forget about Koiki. Don't say this like this on social. Every day they are bombing things in Ukraine and Russia. It's on live television. BBC talks about it. Sky News talk about it. So prepare your mind. If ECOWAS put the first trigger, they will bomb Muritala Mohammed Airport, and you will not be able to travel to Nigeria for the next 3 years. So we are currently at war. As I speak to you right now, we are not me, because before you thought it was Yoruba people that will create war. But the war now is on your doorstep. I am 6,000 kilometers away, but that doesn't mean that I don't have loved ones and family there. Would these be averted? What is the US interest? Is the question. So when some of you say we are crazy, when we are telling you Yoruba nation, any color, shut up. What is going to arrest everybody now is just 72 hours. The next 72 hours is very crucial. Maybe Tinubu was just saying action. Maybe his action was just rhetoric. Or maybe America will push. Maybe France will push. And they will push him and push him and push him. And boom. I've listened to the Wagner as well. I told you this is the platform that tells you what is actually going on international wise. That is why they call it Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. I've listened to the Wagner, but I want to focus back. July 6, 1967 was the Nigerian Civil War. So as at this time, 1967, they were fighting a war, but the BBC was projecting a different narrative. But this time around, any war now, I have already been telling you, because we are now living in a different era. So nobody can hide anything anymore. We know what is going to happen, because I'm telling you now that if they bomb anywhere in Niger Republic, be rest assured, Muritala Mohammed Airport will be bombed. It's as simple as that. They will look for the target as well to bomb. That's what they do. Look, Russia, and you're going to listen to that when I play the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken. He says Russia is purposely targeting where Ukraine are keeping their grain that they will sell to me and you, because developing countries are the ones that need grain. Nigeria is not, But do you know that Thomas Sankara, before he was killed, from that documentary I watched, Thomas Sankara was already making headway to wheat growing in Burkina Faso. You're calling Abuja, make them go bomb Abego. Well, we don't know. When it's guerrilla warfare, you look for the soft target. It's as simple as that. Abuja might be beefed up with so many security, and they will look for the soft target. Soft target means that they can walk anybody into Nigeria and strap them off, and they blow it anywhere they want to blow, because it's now becoming a war. And when it's a war, anything we should be expecting. I can only say I'm praying that it doesn't happen. But in reality, in my stomach, I know how I'm feeling. But just for argument's sake, so that, I pray it doesn't happen. But let me tell you, this time, 1967, one jagun lowo nile Igbo. And that war led to 5 million people. The bastard man that was involved in that war, Gowon, is now traveling to Niger. Do you think that is going to solve any problem? Do you think that maybe they are not even involved? And they will be deceiving Tinubu. I saw Sultan of Sokoto. I told you so many times, hey, Kigba, you don't want to listen to Koiki. Because when I say donate money, now I say shut up. Only money I told you the owner of Nigeria is Sultan of Sokoto. They drive in with the Nigerian presidential aircraft. Lọ́fi drive lọ sí Niger. Kí ló dé tí Dangote ṣe fún wọn ní private jet kó fi gbé lọ? Why take the Nigerian presidential aircraft? Oh, okay, maybe because they are representing Nigeria. I told you Sultan of Sokoto is the owner of Nigeria. That was 2 years ago. But you were all abusing me, calling me names, putting all kind of allegation on me. Now the war. I now remember what Professor Wole Soyinka said. The war is at our doorstep. What do we do? Could this be the war that Dr. Malafi Obadia is talking about that we did not even know? Is the Niger a planned coup to destabilize Nigeria once and for all, so that they can infiltrate us and then probably, not that they can win Nigeria, we got to be honest, but there will be much casualty in Nigeria than Niger, because Nigeria will send Ecowas team. 5 Ecowas chief of military staff did not attend the meeting in Abuja on Wednesday. Ìlú márùn that have been suspended, including Niger. And these countries are saying they will come together and they will defend their brother. It's called brotherhood, just like the ISIS does. If they kill one person, ISIS will go the other side. A very good morning to the live transmission. Some of you might say, shut up there, what do you know? You where you sit down there, what do you know? I don't know anything, but Anthony Blinken could not give us a very, when you listen to him, I'm going to play it. When you listen to him, you then take your own out of it and say, which side going America were? Which side America did? Remember I told you that America built the biggest, largest drone base in that part of the world. Since 2019, it cost America 110 million US dollars. Thank you so much, Mr. Buju. Peter Pan said, Koiki, Niger is the card Buhari want to use to take over Nigeria. When Malafia say they are coming, we thought the one with the inside forest. Now in there they come. We know nobody thought that it would be this one. Tuashe, thank you so much. Thank you, all our listeners on the Twitter space. I can see a lot of them. Many of them now, they be Simon Ekpa. So I don't even know. Simon Ekpa don't get double body now. So if you think that you won't go kidnap Simon Ekpa from Finland, you could just go pick another person and they go kill you. Those of you trying to say you're going to come and you think you can kidnap anybody anytime this time around. Yeah, we are very careful. I know they go party anymore. If you invite me to party, I'm sorry, I can't come because I don't trust anybody. Thomas Sankara was killed by the closest person to him. Apart from my wife's food, I don't eat outside. You cannot invite me to come to anywhere. I'm not going to come because I am a target and I know that myself. But I leave that for Eledumare to continue to protect us from the enemies within and the enemies outside. The closest person to Thomas Sankara killed him. Thomas Sankara was not 39 years old when he died, but his name is still being mentioned. Me, I will be alive till my teeth come out and witness Yoruba nation. I don't know about you, especially some of you born bastard that wants to save. You want to save Nigeria that is already. I told you Nigeria is a Titanic that is gone into the ditch, and they are trying to. You think Tinubu can revive the economy of Nigeria, the country that is already inside mommy water? Even those are the infamous that went underneath that wanted to go and see. They paid almost $500,000, you know, those 5 people that died. They could not even get their bodies out. They probably get beat and beat. Thank you so much, our mother, Sarah Oyilo. So let's start listening to Anthony Blinken. We are now 45 minutes past 12 midnight. Today is the 4th day of August, 2023. My name is Olami Koikimedia. I love referencing date and time because history will watch all these and say we played our role while we were alive. I pity some of you that say, hey, I don't want to get involved. You know, what you guys are doing is too risky. Okay, no problem. I hope you don't come out of a lift that will fall on your head like that doctor died in Lagos State. I hope she supported something before she died. Not that I love the way she died. We told you Nigeria will happen to you when you don't expect. So some of us that are in this, my wife kept asking me, "She Monisha program ne?" I told her, as at the time, I said no. She came and said, "You're not doing any program because I haven't seen you doing any program today, apart from the Star Radio." I said no. But she knows that I will still do a program. So when I started moving my phone, my laptop, I said, you want to start now? And she's asking me, it's late. So please, just make sure our neighbors don't come and knock our door. They've never done so before. But, women will always because they know that I can go high sometimes, especially when some of you bomb bastard come and put stupid comments. You go to the same thing with Emanepa and put stupid comment. Like me and Simon Ekpa are the one that destroyed Nigeria. Go one that destroyed Nigeria, they're still moving in with the president. I don't even know why that jet did not come down on their head with Sultan of Sokoto inside. I told you Sultan of Sokoto control Nigeria. And Muslim will come here now. You Muslim, I see you fighting stupidly. You think the North respect you as a Yoruba Muslim. They see you as a filthy pig. Sorry to use that word. Worrying you as Elede. They will never pray behind you. What can I get now? Call on phone Kebaba Shew Adams, Rodi Allah Ta'alani. The bastard Fulani that we thought they were Hausa, they were all Fulani. They never pray behind that man in Agege. And Yoruba people, especially the Muslim ones, you think the North respect you. They see you as a pig because they look at us as pigs because we do not go in accordance to their own Sharia. So I pity a lot of you, Yoruba Muslim. I can see them. They're fighting every day now on social media. When we should be focused on ask our representative that we need to get the hell out of this mess before it explodes on our head. They are all fighting. Benny, you know, those do you know how many mosques the late MK Abiola built in the North, thinking maybe they will fall in love with us? They call us infidels. That's the right word, Mr. Sheguano. They call us infidels, bastard Yoruba people, not the real original Yoruba people I'm talking. When I say bastard Yoruba people, we know the bastard ones among us that is telling us that our tradition must be thrown away. As if Saudi Arabia, you know, respect us. I can do love voice in terms of a voice jade because I could upset a family if I come out with what I want to say now. And I know my wife will be very, very bitter that why did I come online and say such? She will be very upset with me after the program. So I will just stay back and put that in my stomach. A Muslim, you think the North respect us from the perspective as a Muslim. Anything that is coming from Saudi Arabia goes to the North, and they'll probably give you remnants. We are Muslim. You think the North respect you. So let's come back to the reality of what I was discussing so that my spirit doesn't go away from where, you know. It's a 16-minute. It's a United Nations video. So I'm going to let it run through without interrupting. But in case the bad day Ibibai, later when you're watching this program and you don't find it, maybe because YouTube came back and say, no, you have to remove it. Normally what I tell them is just mute it. So all you need to do is just go back again. So I'm going to tell you the title of what you should be looking for. This is now 6 hours ago. All you need to type in to find this video will be U.S. Secretary of State / Security Council, President on fighting food insecurity and more. So that is how you're going to find it. And it was dated August the 3rd, just in case about this stage, you know, and you cannot find the video anymore. Thank you so much, Mr. Gbadeboido, Mr. Oloyede. All hey Biafra, I cite every single one of you as you're there inside. Bear with me, you know, those sending requests. I won't bring anybody in now until we probably finish listening to these, and then we can make it a little bit more lively and interactive. But every one of you, my sister Eunice, I cite you. You know, do you know that they stole Peter Obi's phone in the court? Bastard country. Is that a country? How can they steal his phone? That shows, you know, that country. Let's listen to Anthony Blinken. It's coming now. So I'll see if I can be showing you his image as well. All right, let me go and get my speaker because I'm not sure whether you can hear it very well. So bear with me. I'm just going to stand up and go and bring the speaker and probably just close the, you know, the door a little bit. Once again, my name is Olami Koiki. This is where you know what is happening when it comes to because Shewan Kimbaloye is not going to tell you this one, okay? Don't expect even Rufai. And if you're waiting for Abati, that one is a bastard Yoruba man. I'm coming. So we're going to listen to Anthony Blinken so that the sound comes out a little bit much better. Let's go with it.
Everyone, we're here today and using our presidency of the Security Council this month to focus in on the rising challenge of global food insecurity. We've seen an almost perfect storm emerge in recent years, a combination of climate change, of COVID, and now particularly of conflict that is driving this food insecurity. There are now about 260 million people around the world who are acutely food insecure. And in turn, this food insecurity itself drives conflict, it drives forced migration, it stunts growth, both physical growth and economic growth. It holds countries back, it holds people back. The flip side of the coin is we're also increasingly seeing food being used as a weapon of war, for leverage, for political purposes, in conflict after conflict. So we wanted to put the focus on both of these challenges, rising food insecurity and at the same time the use of food as a weapon of war. We just have 91 countries commit in a joint communique to ending the use of food as a tool of war. That in and of itself is a powerful statement, and we urge others to join. Of course, the place where we're seeing this most immediately and most acutely is in Ukraine, where, as part of Russia's aggression, it initially blockaded Ukraine's ports, in effect blocking the export of grains to the world that Ukraine had been a key country for providing. Then, thanks to the good work of the United Nations Secretary General and Turkey, an agreement was put in place that allowed grain to flow through the Black Sea Grain Initiative. While that agreement was in force, more than 30 million tons of grain were able to get out of Ukraine and to markets around the world. Well over half of that to developing countries, and in fact, 2/3 of the wheat to developing countries. It was the equivalent of 18 billion loaves of bread. A few weeks ago, Russia tore up that agreement. The result has been rising prices for countries around the world. The result has been a diminution in the access to these food products, particularly for developing countries. And as we've seen, Russia's actions since then, not only in tearing up the deal, but in intentionally targeting food silos in Ukraine, literally destroying food, as well as the means to produce it, while holding ports and sea lanes at risk to prevent countries from shipping these products out of Ukraine and to the people who need it. I think we've heard from around the world a chorus of condemnation for this action and the strong desire on the part of many, many countries that this arrangement be put back in place. And it's very simple. It's on Russia to decide whether to do so. Of course, it could end the war that it started tomorrow, and that would solve the problem definitively. But short of that, at the very least, the world is insisting that it restore the Black Sea Grain Initiative. The urgent assistance that we're providing to countries around the world, not just in the context of Ukraine, but of other serious risks of famine, has been significant. Over the last year and a half, the United States has provided an additional $14.5 billion in food assistance to countries around the world. We are the largest contributor by far to the World Food Program, 50% of its budget every single year. And today, I was able to announce another $360 million in assistance to combat food insecurity in Haiti and 11 African countries. But for all of the emergency assistance that we're providing and others are providing, it's not enough. The United Nations, and particularly the World Food Program, has determined that right now we need to address the food insecurity of well over 100 million people around the world, $25 billion. To date, only 4.5 billion of that has been pledged by various countries. We have to do better. We have to do more. We have to do it now. Finally, As important as these urgent appeals are, and as important as the work that we're doing to address immediate needs are, we also have to take a long-term perspective and make sure that we are acting on that as well. By 2050, it is estimated that the population of this planet could be as many as 10 billion people. Demand for food is likely to increase by 50% over what it is today. And yet, yields, what's actually being produced, are going down, not up. We have to, and we are, addressing this challenge. I spoke today at the Council about one of the initiatives the United States is advancing. That is a vision for adapted crops and soil. And simply put, what that means is this. We know that we have the ability to produce seeds for planting that are resilient, certainly more resilient to climate change in all of its various manifestations, and are much more nutritious than some of the things being planted today. We also know that the quality of soil makes all the difference in the world. And we now have the ability to map pretty much any terrain anywhere in the world to determine the quality of its soil, where it's good, where it's bad, where we can improve it, and how we can improve it. You put those two things together, seeds and soil, and you can powerfully address the challenge of producing sustainable agricultural production capacity with better yields, more nutritious crops in a sustainable way. We are putting $100 million to that effort. Other countries are joining in, and we expect to see significantly more come forward in the weeks and months ahead. This is a powerful new way to really make a difference over the long term in making sure that we have strong agricultural capacity and production around the world, and notably in Africa. So let me stop there, and happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much,
Nice
Mr. Secretary. Edith Lutteroff from the Associated Press. On the Black Sea Grain Initiative, we understand that the Russians have made some indication that they might want to revive talks. They say that despite there being no sanctions, there are still issues with banking, financing, insurance, shipping, etc. What is the United States prepared to do to try and help overcome those issues if and when talks resume? And on Niger, the Ecowas, the regional organization, gave a week for the military leaders to restore the president to power. That expires Sunday. They have threatened to use force if that doesn't happen. What is the U.S. position? Thank you.
Edith, thank you very much. First, with regard to Russia and grain, to be very clear, the sanctions imposed by us and others for Russia's aggression in Ukraine have from day one exempted its own food products. And that includes not just the food products, but the means to ship them and insure them. And in fact, just now, if you look at where Russian exports are, its exports of food exceed what they were before its aggression against Ukraine. Having said that, to the extent that there have been any problems with things like shipping and insurance, we have throughout the process of the Black Sea Grain Initiative taken steps to work through them and to address them, including, for example, writing comfort letters to banks to assure them that it was fine to process these transactions and that they wouldn't run afoul of our sanctions. So in the event of return to the agreement, of course, we'll continue to do whatever is necessary to make sure that everyone can export their food and food products freely and safely, to include Russia. We want to see that food on world markets. We want everyone to benefit from the lower prices. With regard to Niger, we strongly support the very strong leadership of Ecowas on Niger. I don't want to get ahead of where things are, but what Ecowas has done in terms of stating very clearly that there's an expectation for return to the constitutional order and a continuation of the democratic process. and putting pressure on those responsible for interrupting the democratic order and constitutional order in Niger. We stand very much behind that. We will work closely with Ecowas, with other concerned countries. I don't want to get ahead of where things are right now, but we believe that the work that Ecowas is doing and the statements it's made are important, strong, and have our support.
Thank you so much. Just to clarify on Edie's question, so the U.S. has not taken a position of supporting military force by ECOWAS, by the African group within Niger. Just so I understand what you're saying, but would the U.S. provide logistical or other support to such an intervention in the country? And then on the grain issue, I wanted to ask you, barring a return to the grain initiative, are there other ways to get Ukrainian grain onto the high seas?
Thanks, Will. Again, on ECOWAS, we support what they've said. We are working closely with ECOWAS, with concerned countries. I don't want to get ahead of where we are now. We'll see how the coming days play out. But as I said, we believe it is vitally important that what ECOWAS has called for actually take effect, and that is the freeing of President Bazoum and a restoration of the constitutional order in Niger. And we support the efforts that ECOWAS is making, including the pressure that it's exerting in order to achieve that result. Short of returning to the Black Sea Grain Initiative, of course, we're looking at every option to maximize the export of grains from Ukraine, including by land routes, which are already in effect, potentially by sea and river routes, rail, etc. Having said that, as I see it right now, even maximizing those other routes, it will be very difficult to make up what we were doing, what Ukraine was able to do with the Black Sea Grain Initiative. In other words, the volumes, I think, will be hard to match. And even if, for example, it was an effective and safe way to move things by sea from the south, the fact that Russia is targeting the ports, targeting the production facilities, the storage facilities, the grain itself, as long as that continues, it's going to be incredibly difficult. So I think that's what we really have to be looking at, is what does Russia do? And as I said earlier in the council, it's not about what we're saying, Manny. It's quite literally what virtually everyone in that council is saying, and so many members of this body of the United Nations. The Kenyan Foreign Ministry called what Russia did in tearing up the grain deal a stab in the back. And that is reflective of what many countries around the world feel. Russia has to address that.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Michelle Nichols from Reuters. A follow-up on Niger. Have any ECOWAS countries notified the US of their plans for potential military action once this deadline expires on Sunday? And on China, you've invited Foreign Minister Wang Yi to come and visit in DC. Has he formally accepted that invitation, and when might that visit take place?
Thank you. On ECOWAS, I'd really invite you to address questions to them about their planning, their timelines, etc. But as I said before, we're in close contact with them, with a number of other countries. I've also been in direct contact with President Bazoum multiple times, including as recently as yesterday. Other actors on the ground in Niger, and I just don't want to get into hypotheticals now. We're playing this out one day at a time, and we are looking for the restoration of the constitutional order in Niger. With regard,
Let's come back to the transmission. What you've listened to now is the United Nations conversation that took place yesterday. I don't know what you've picked out from there. Whatever you've picked out, you could put it in the comment section and I'll be able to read them out. And I believe one person, Dizzy123, said the US said it is supporting ECOWAS to bring about peaceful resolution. I'm not sure that is what I heard, but you're right with your own views as well. Adebanjo said Yoruba Nation are going back. The question is, the reason why I've chosen the topic tonight to focus on US, whatever Anthony Blinken is saying is representing what the US government is saying. What I can read and what I can understand from the point of Anthony Blinken is we will just allow ECOWAS to go ahead with whatever the last option on the table, 72 hours before Sunday deadline. Are we going to see extension? Intelligence that is already out in the public domain says the Nigerian military are already moving closer to Sokoto State in preparedness should any call from the chief of commanding of the Nigeria and also the chairman of ECOWAS. Anthony Blinken was trying to avoid questions that was put to him, but he was trying to be apathetic or whatever he was saying there. But the question tonight is, we are now less than 72 hours. Would these be a back down from the junta, those that are now saying, no, we are not going to back down? Do you think that the coup plotters are going to back down? What I've been following from all the news, especially the foreign news, I've been following the DW, which is a German news, and likewise I've been following the Al Jazeera and others as well. It seems that the coup plotters are not going to back down. Gowon is currently in Niger with the real owner of Nigeria, the Sultan of Sokoto. Mr. Shegun said the junta won't back down. Mrs. Bemeleke said this war is a joke, seriously. Once again, a very good morning to all our viewers and listeners. We'll open the phone line in just about a few minutes. Wagner have spoken as well, and they are already in support of what is happening on the ground. More and hundreds of Europeans have been evacuated in the last 2 days. Let's take why Niger is dangerous for Americans after the coup. This is coming from one of the morning programs in America called the News Nation. Let's get their perspective, and then I will open the phone line briefly. This program will not last more than 2 hours, so we hope to end it by 2 o'clock because it's very, very late. And as you know, I'm operating from home, not from the studio. If I was operating from the studio, we could run it up to whenever time. Good morning to you, my beautiful, beautiful, and most elegant Auntie Kentos Abebi Mokibubuin. So what we're going to listen to now is the angle from the
non-emergency person.
1 minute. Let's remove the advert first. This is a program in America called the Good Morning America. And this is 11 hours ago by the News Nation. Let's hear what they're saying as well. And then I'll come back again.
In the region. Let's go ahead and dig in with Joel Rubin, who served as Deputy Assistant Secretary of State during the Obama administration. Joel, thanks for joining us this morning. For the people at home, explain how critical and dangerous the situation is this morning in Niger for any Americans that might still be there.
Yeah, Brooke, it's great to be with you. The situation is very dangerous. This is a moment of a coup essentially where military rebels have taken power and pushed the democratically elected leader to the side, who's still in the country. There are still attempts to try to restore him to power, but as each day passes, it makes it much, much harder. And so now, as you point out, with the State Department ordering a partial withdrawal, that means that we're going to have less staff of American diplomats on the ground, as well as the Defense Department now reducing cooperation with Niger's military because of the situation. So a very dangerous situation overall. There are protests on the ground as well in support of the government, probably being orchestrated by the coup leaders. And for Americans, there's not a lot of support there if something goes wrong. And so clearly it's not a place to spend free time right now for America.
Well, as you can see, they're saying that the Americans needs to be also leaving. Let me give you the statistics of the world uranium supply as of 2021. Niger contributed 5%. I'm talking about the whole world now, not, Africa now. Niger contributed 5%, Russia 6%, Uzbekistan 7%. Kyrgyzstan is the largest uranium supplier to the world, 46%. Australia 8%, Namibia 12%, Canada 10%. Niger contribute 5% of the global supply of uranium. Michael Smith said, if you want to know what's going on, look for the Black New. Well, there's a lot of different people who have different perspectives. I also picked up, 1 minute. One of those behind the coup was in America. Yeah, this is the picture. If you're on my Twitter, you would have seen these already. According to a Twitter handle that I follow called Sprinter99800. Again, the media are playing to one side. So if you're following the media from Russia, their perspective will be different from the media from the West. So they're all playing card. But the question is West Africa the battlefield that would eventually be captured and then eventually open another territory? Because what war in the war brings out, new territory. So if Nigeria attack, I don't want to use Nigeria, if ECOWAS attack Niger and Niger also reverse into Nigeria, remember that we already have agitation going on in Nigeria. That will make things even much quicker for those that get the message. Because what happened is there will be much pressure on the Nigerian military. Remember that the Nigerian military, whether they are 500,000, they'll probably need about 100,000. I don't know what numbers they will have. Nigeria will supply more of the, of the military that ECOWAS will need. But the mastermind of these coup was seen last year, in America. Remember that we talked about General Langley in March 2023 on the 23rd, when it was questioned about the core value. I'm sure some of you remember that video, core value. Who is really behind this Niger coup? Is it who you think, or is it just to destabilize the region? Is Bola Tinubu? Remember that Tinubu flew from France. I just want to bring this back because it might not really mean anything, but when things like this happen, you have to start multiplying things. He flew from France to London and he returned back for the Eid, I believe on Tuesday. I'm sure most of you remember. In Tokos of Wanikwe, he was coming for a private meeting. It was not until Bola Tinubu got back to Nigeria we realized that he had a picture with Bubu, the sadist, in London. Take note of that as well. 10 months ago, we saw President Mahmoud Bazoum speaking in United Nations. Another video was sent to me where somebody was questioning his real origin. I'm talking about this same president. I have that video, but we probably, when we're using the software, I was still going to program here again. Then I can link everything because I'm not using the software. So I'm just using, the system separately. So remember that we are also always concerned. We say, like we knew that Buhari was not a Nigerian. His father is from, Niger and all this nonsense. The question then is, as all this is playing out, who is going to be the loser and who is going to be the winner? Who lose more and who is going to gain? Do you think that this situation that we are seeing being played out right now is for the benefit of those of us that are campaigning for the right to self-determination? Because Nigeria, as we speak right now, is really, really unbalanced. I'm not talking about the NLC. I'm talking about the real campaigner now that say, look, this country is not working. Let's divide it. But many Nigerians do not want Nigeria to be divided. Do you think that if the war in the next 72 hours, today is Friday, Saturday, Juma Barika for all our Muslim brothers and sisters, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, what they are going to try to bargain for is, should the coup, those junta, I want to plan a coup, if they're not going to back down, they will not release this guy, the president. It will be a last card. About a few days ago, the same coup junta guys, coup plotters, they were saying to France, don't attempt to try to come and kidnap or bring your SOS or SAS and remove Bazoum. It will be bloody. And I think French government backed down a little bit. Whether they still plan for that, I don't know. But you heard that he's still in communication, because according to Anthony Blinken, he was still able to speak with that same guy, the Ulster President Bazoum. Today is the 4th. So he spoke with him as at on the 2nd. So that means he's still speaking with the outside world from his house arrest. The question again is, what is the take of the US government? Because all I saw Anthony Blinken saying there, let's read some of the comment here. Mr. Samuel Afolabi said the US is already supporting the use of force in Niger. He said it through diplomatically. Though diplomatically, these people walk only waja, walk poloko wamu, waja. So what the US wants to do is give the logistic backing. They will be behind the scene. Ecowas will play the force, but the US will give them, already by now, the US is giving them all the satellite mapping. I mean, Niger is not a very big country anyway, so they know where they are and they know where to attack. And probably maybe some of the special force are now drafted very close by. If you have watched this movie, yeah, because I watch a lot of movie anyway, the attack on the US embassy when the ambassador was killed. What's the name of that film? So by now, the US, the British, the French, the German, they are moving their special force closer to the region. I can guarantee that, but that is not going to play out in the public domain. Yeah, General Langley said everything in the congressional hearing in March 2023. So the question is, who is backing this coup? Is it what we are thinking or the other way around? Because a lot of people might say it's Russia, that Russia is behind it. What about if Russia is not behind it? What if Russia is not behind the backing of this coup? What if Russia is not behind it? Are we thinking in that direction? So there is danger ahead. Many Nigerians have seen them talking about it, especially the Yorubas. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn ti ṣe fídíò ariwo tí ń ta lọ pé, look, Tinubu, we don't want any war. But Tinubu is not the one in control. Tinubu is playing the card that is given to him. That is what he's actually doing. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president, is only playing the card that is in front of him. There is a big danger. Good morning to you, Mr. Clement. What is special at Niger, Coup, Guinea, Burkina Faso? Again, that has been the question. What makes that region special? You should ask yourself then, if it's not special, why build a military drone base? Cost American government. It's been completed already. But as we speak right now, they can't fly anything out of it because the airspace is short. America spent $110 million building that drone base. The purpose of the drone base, I don't know why they needed it there in that region. But whatever reason, it was again for a specific reason. Remember again that America wants to build the biggest embassy in Africa in Lagos State. I picked up something as well on the Gazette. I talked about it on the Star Radio yesterday. I'm not sure if it's still there, but do you know that the UK representative, the foreign secretary, no, it's not foreign secretary. Yeah, 1 minute. Let me go and pick that up. It's currently in Abuja as well. And they're talking about building a gas pipeline. I've watched Simon Ekpa explain this in details before. I can't explain it because Simon Ekpa was able to explain Ibitofek gas from their side all the way through to Morocco and all that. But the issue of the gas came up again. UK gas pipe. Bola Tinubu talked about it, and that was in the the People's Gazette. Okay, I got it right here. Bola Tinubu is asking the West, and when they talk about the West, we're talking about UK, France, Germany. These are the country that is actually West. All these European countries, Eastern Bloc, and when they don't have money, so they are being funded by the big player in the bloc. Bola Tinubu is asking the West, especially the United Kingdom, to pipe gas from Nigeria to Europe. The earlier we get the hell out of Nigeria, the better for us, so that they can help tackle the insecurity. I told you the foreign secretary is in Nigeria. President Tinubu charged the foreign secretary on the imperatives of the West and the UK in particular in mobilizing investment to pipe the gas. Imagine they're going to pipe the gas from Nigeria to Europe so that somebody like me will not get, will not die in the winter. Let's open the line briefly because we have just 32 minutes left into the program because, like I said, it's quite late. So if you're going to join us, send a request. I'll bring you in on the Twitter space. I can't bring you in on the TikTok tonight. We're going to leave that. But the phone line, for those of you that have the number, I don't know the number of it myself, but I'm sure we have the backup team. If your number sitter. So we take maybe 1 or 2, 3 calls. But this particular program will be repeated again tomorrow. The question is, who is actually behind the Niger coup? Is it an internal plan to destabilize that region? Or is it also part of the plan that some of us have been saying Nigeria is just even going to break up anyway? Nigeria is really at the verge of collapsing. D-Ray say Russia supply most of the EU, but they cut the gas. Yes, there was a big project, Simon Adebisi said Russia and Uganda plan B, the gas and the Russia. Remember that Russia cut out the gas project that was meant to go through Germany, massive project, even they actually bombed something underneath under the water as well. So there's a lot going on between Russia and the West. And it seems Africa is going to be the ground where they want to push everything in. Just Reason say, I did read some thesis championed by Awolowo in the 80s. It was written in 1968. Would they short the airways length Lagos-London journey time? Kingsley said, uranium is the main reason and France is using Tinubu to fight a senseless war. Patrick Real Estate say it is internal to stop the external exploitation. There is a lot going on and we must remain focused. For those of us agitating, this is not the time to sleep. We open our eyes and we must make sure our eyes are not closed. There's a lot of movement going on. Also, I picked up from another source that one of the head of the Iran flew either into Niger or somewhere around there. So there's a lot of aircraft, military aircraft are moving. If you're following, there's a guy on Twitter, tells you all the aircraft that is moving. So there's a lot of mobilization going on. Big Hercules, they're moving around. Our eyes must be on the ball. But like I said, America is already saying Ecowas should deal with it. But we know that behind the scene, America will provide as many of the logistics. So, Yoruba, what we should be worried about now is, what are we going to do? Many Yoruba people that believe in Bola Tinubu are saying Tinubu should not fight this war. But Tinubu is not the only one calling the shot. Again, why use Tinubu as the chairman of ECOWAS when he has not even settled down in his own country? Tinubu is only 3 months old in office. A military intervention in Nigeria could pave the way to self-determination movement in the country. Just Reason. My Twitter is the same, Koikimedia. Giving 7 days notice is not the best move. Well, Tinubu already gave that notice before he start doing dialogue. I don't think Gowon will get anything out of the Niger because Gowon has a lot of blood in his hand as well. This time 1967, Nigeria was already fighting on behalf of the British again with the Biafra. So let's take the call quickly because of our time constraint this early hours. Let's go straight to the first caller and let's hear their view. And let's make it briefly, please. Go ahead, you're live. The call was operator, we can hear you. Your audio is very low, and I'm using a speaker, so is it up from your end? I can hardly hear you.
Okay.
So let me refresh the phone. Maybe it could be from my end. Once again, there is a lot going on, and we have to put our eyes. Mr. Fab said, I was surprised all of a sudden Nigeria started having serious connection with France. Well, the movement was there. We saw Tinubu would not work with, maybe UK will probably work more with the French country. Yeah, go ahead. We will manage it. Go ahead.
Inú mi dùn láti gbọ́ prógrámù yín. Mi lè parọ́ fún yín, àwa tá wà lé ìrẹ̀wẹ̀sì bá ọkàn wa lóríṣiríṣi nípa ogun kan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ báyìí. But having said that, èmi mọ̀ pé ìjọ tó bá.
All right, I think that's my phone playing out. Is the WhatsApp disconnecting itself? All right, let me delete the Instagram on this phone a little bit. Maybe it would make any impact. It's too much heavy load. I've removed the Instagram. I can put it back again. All right, let's call him back. The WhatsApp is playing. It's from my own end. Let me call him back. Anyway, subsidy removal already. I missed the likes of Arotile. Well, they would have probably be using Arotile to go and attack them as well, and she could be bombed. But we hope that.
Hello, service part.
Yeah, go ahead.
Why nǹkan tí mo dá láti sọ ni pé àwọn àti àwa tá wà lé àtẹ̀yìntẹ̀ wà níta tí ó bá tó lójú wa we'll come together as a one family láti fight ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation yìí. One, ọ̀rọ̀ Niger yìí.
All right. I have too much difficulty with the WhatsApp tonight. All right. Anyway, let's just continue. In case we don't have to take calls, we'll probably deal with that tomorrow. As I just about 26 minutes left to the end of the program, what I want our mind to be on is, if this doesn't go as they are planning, just in case, we don't know what is going to happen. We can speculate from now till thy kingdom come. Sunday might really come. There might not be anything. There might be more extra time, because in any football game, if the game is 0-0, there will be extra time. It might be, maybe I think it's my WhatsApp, so I'll probably, not worry with the calls tonight. There might be extra time, and that extra time will lead to more room for negotiation. But if there's a push that the world that wants something out of Niger, because I can see France is already bitter and they want everything done as quickly as possible. France, whether you don't know, you just need to go and look at their own network. They are bitter at the moment. I'm talking about their government. Germany has already cut out the aid into Niger. All I can say is that whatever is going to happen, it is not new. 1967, we were already inside a war going on in the southeast of Nigeria. And that lasted for 3 years. The only difference now is even the war might start and people might not even know that we're at war. We might just be saying that we're at war because as many people have forgotten that there's a war going on in Ukraine and Russia. But the reason why people will feel the war, if this goes ahead and they don't avert it, so bad they will go ahead and it doesn't get stopped. Those of you in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt should prepare your mind. There will be a combination of 3 countries fighting against a powerful force like Ecowas, because we know that they are powerful. Combined together. But the logistics, as the question was asked from the journalist to Anthony Blinken, he didn't answer it as I would have expected him. He twisted it a little bit. Like I said, I want to bring the name of the guy that is in Nigeria, the foreign secretary. I want to call him by his name. I'm just going back on my Twitter because I do a lot of retweeting and write up on it and that. So once again, the wife of Lagos State Governor, the bomb bastard woman, says Lagos State Governor's wife, Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, says hospital elevator accident that killed the female doctor was a spiritual attack. born bastard. No sympathy for anyone at home. 1 minute. Map of Africa countries that have signed military agreements with Nigeria. You can check that on my Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. There's a lot going on there. That is where we push a lot of the message. Facebook has become a no-go area. We've been suspended. So if you're going to, yes, I've got it now. Yeah. So if you're going to be listening to what is going on much, go on Twitter. I told you that the short woman devil have left. That with a woman, you know that woman, the short woman devil. Everybody knows the short woman devil, the former representative to UK, Nigeria. We don't have to mention her name, but I'm sure people will follow us on our platform, and I'm sure the Biafra knows the person I'm talking about. The Biafra hate her so much that they can't even see her going. So even if I haven't mentioned her name, people knows the person I'm talking about. I'm now looking at the new British High Commissioner. I talked about him before he came on board. His name is Dr. Richard Montgomery. I don't know whether he's allowing comment on his own. Okay, he's allowing comment because the other woman, she blocked her comment section. So when she posts, you cannot comment because she was reading the Biafra attacking back to back. So she couldn't, whoever was angling the Twitter, whether it's her or some of her PA or whatever, they have to block the comment section. Now, again, we can say that they are pushing. If you think that the visit of James Cleverly is the foreign secretary, equivalent to Anthony Blinken that we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast, well, in between the broadcast. Visit of the foreign secretary, James Cleverly, concludes with key meeting with the president, the vice president, and guess what? The national security advisor. I'm asking this question. Can Tinubu come to UK and then have meeting with the MI5 head of MI5? Tinubu Mawasi UK, because I don't think every time Buhari was coming, maybe that was something behind the closed door, but we never had the British saying that when Buhari came, he was meeting with the head of the MI5. Imagine a foreign secretary. This is not the prime minister, just a foreign secretary. And I use the word just, even though he's representing the United Kingdom. Okay, I think we have two requests. Let me quickly allow these two, and I'm just going to push them quickly because we are now 20 minutes into the end of the program. So go ahead. But before those two go ahead, let me quickly read. So James Cleverly is the foreign secretary to the United Kingdom. He had a meeting with Bola Tinubu, Shetima, and even the national security advisor to discuss and agree further work between the UK and Nigeria on economic, security, partnership, and the crisis in Niger. What is involved or what is in it for these two powerful countries, the United Kingdom and also America? So let's go straight to Mr. Simon that have joined us. Quickly, let's hear from you. Unmute yourself so that we can get your perspective as we are now running out of time.
Oh, thank you, Koiki. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I was enjoying the show. I was just laughing the entire time because I'm like, when you play the terrorist Anthony Blinken,
yes,
when he was running his mouth, he actually said a lot, and it's actually something that you're going to take time to analyze word by word, and you will actually get what he was saying. He said he's behind the Ecowas, right? And what are the stands of the Ecowas at this point? They want to fight.
Yes.
So, in other words, they literally support, the violence because you're African. You are an African, your life doesn't matter. They can kill. And also remember, there was something else that I also heard. There's evacuation going on.
Yes.
There's evacuation going on. So when all these things happen, the first thing they do is they get their people to safety and abandon you to die. This is going to the people. So I just wanted to point that out. And this is going to the people that are just, keep thinking that somehow that Nigeria, they're going to save them. Because I saw how people were writing petitions I'm like, these people are so dumb. Nobody is going to save you but yourself. If you keep waiting on these people, as soon as his cheeks start to go down, they will abandon you and then evacuate their people because you are an African. You don't matter. And you were asking a question, what if who is behind the coup?
Yes.
And you said, what if it's not
Russia?
Russia, right? But here's the thing. What do we know about Niger? It's a shitty country. People are living below poverty. So who's to say that you can have somebody like Mazen Namdekano in Niger truly wanted the freedom of his people? Because remember, it's even if it is because it may be. Listen, the other time we had a coup in the same, I believe it's the same region, and then you have another one. So it may be, it may actually trigger a chain reaction, and that's what we're saying. As far as the Nigerian issue goes, they're not fighting anything. You can smell it. If you're gonna fight it, they're not gonna do anything. This is toothless tigers. They're just gonna run there because Nigeria doesn't have what it takes. Have they defeated Boko Haram? They don't have what it takes. Ecowas don't have what it takes. So they will just run their mouth. And Nigeria is in a precarious situation where we are actually praying. Like Biafrans, we are praying for Nigeria to go and fight Niger. They will receive water from that side, and they will continue to die in Biafra land. So it's going to be two sides. So either way, they lose. So, but I think because they know that they are in a precarious situation, they will rather. The sensible thing to do will be because they once they fight Biafrans, let's just say that it's going to end up being for everybody's good. So if they fight, it's going to come quicker. If they don't fight, it's still going to come quicker. It just means that we have more people to kill, more terrorists to kill in our land. But if they decide to go and fight in Niger, it's going to come real quicker. And everybody that want to talk on board can get out of that zoological republic.
Do you think that Bola Tinubu speaking on Sunday last week, he was probably not expecting Burkina Faso and Mali to back Niger? That he was probably not expecting it. He was giving his own presentation with the hope that he's just going to stamp on them by saying act, because I heard him speaking about action and action. He said it more than 3 times.
You know that Nigeria, one thing about them is they like to show of force, right? Just like they're doing in Biafra land. They want to come out and tell you that they want to actually scare them, but now they are saying that this thing could actually turn out to be something that they really don't want. But now, and they had to, once they had to make a statement. People were waiting on him. He was just elected as the chairman, I believe.
Yes. So
he had to come out and make a statement, and that's to show that he has to show that I can do this, and because he doesn't have a mind of his own. He's the way they are pushing him. They are playing him like ping pong. So he had to now do, but now they are actually having to assess, what they what they will gain and what they will lose. And after assessing that, any civil person will know that this thing is they're not gonna do anything. But if they decide to do, we love it. I'm praying. My prayer is that tomorrow they will invade Niger, and then the rest will be history. Because let's just say that will be in Biafra land popping champagne. That's just what it be.
One more question.
Yeah.
One more question for you, James Cleverly, the Foreign Secretary. I've just left Nigeria. Is now in Zambia. There haven't been a Foreign Secretary visit Zambia since 1986. That is not where I want to touch. They talked about Nnamdi Kanu's case as the Foreign Secretary. What do you think he was avoiding? Because we know that the last Foreign Secretary was playing ping pong with the issue of Nnamdi Kanu. Why are these Foreign Secretary avoiding to talk on the issue of Nnamdi Kanu, a British citizen held, kidnapped, rendition to Nigeria 2 years on? Or is it part of what he visited Nigeria for?
Well, here's the thing. If you're actually following, I don't know if you're following the court case
in UK
happening in UK, right?
I'm following it, yeah.
Yes, and when you're hearing how these people are analyzing these things and the outcome, you already know that this is just, they're just, they're just playing game, right? It's anybody can tell that they're just playing game with Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, trying to play politics with him. Because what they were saying is, I believe their stance is they're going to wait for Nigeria to now tell them whether or not they kidnapped him, even though the court in Nigeria has said that it was illegally rendition to Nigeria. And they said, since the Nigerian government haven't said it, made a statement, it was just word salad. Word salad in the sense that it was just, they said a bunch of nothing. They said nothing. So here's the thing. It wasn't far back that we saw Boris Johnson in the zoo, right?
Yeah.
And then there was another one that came. I don't know if it's there was another one that came before this one that just came. There was another that person. I think the former prime minister or something.
Tony Blair.
He's also yeah. And you ask yourself, why are they now? Why does it seem like it's now frequent? Right? Why does it seem like it's frequent? It has nothing to do about Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. As far as these people are concerned, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu can rough in DSS dungeon for all they care. They don't care. It's all about their interest. So, but something is speaking, and that thing that is speaking is in Biafra land. That's why we said it. They're not going to tell you the stories. It's only those that know that know. They're not going to tell you the stories of what they are seeing in Biafra land because we told them. They don't want to announce it. Nigeria is currently at war, but they don't want to let the world know because they don't want to. There is war going on in Biafra land as we speak, but they don't want to tell the world to know. And we told them, since they don't want to make it public, our prime minister will sometimes show you a couple of videos for you to see what's going on, and then we try to. They're gonna at some point they will start talking about it. So the same reason why you see the Senate trying to pass a bill or whatever to see if they will allow Mazen, pressure the federal government to release Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. It's the same reason that they are doing it because there is pressure and they're feeling it. And this is what last thing. Boris Johnson, when he came, he said to strengthen their relationship. And it's like, okay, hold on. Was the relationship not strengthened before? All that is just word salad. It's about interest, and they can smell, they can see the handwriting on the wall. And Nigeria, like you said, is Titanic, and they are doing everything. Because what you're seeing happening in Niger, I don't want anybody to think it's a bad thing. No, it is a good thing. Whether it's bad or good, it is a good thing because it's going to trigger a chain reaction. And Nigerians will be free. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, that was a brilliant one from our colleagues there and our brother, in truth, in freedom. Let's just hear from the James Cleverly himself, as he says. The write-up says the first group of the British nationals have now safely left Niger. To resolve the situation in Niger, the UK is clear in our support of African and ECOWAS-led resolution. Again, same thing that Anthony Blinken is saying, but maybe we want to hear it right from his own mouth before we go.
I'm here in Nigeria. I just had a meeting with the Nigerian president, and a couple of days ago, I had a meeting with the Ghanaian president. Obviously, we discussed the situation in Niger. The UK government's priority remains the safety of British nationals and helping them get out of the country to safety. I'm here in Nigeria. I just had a meeting with the Nigerian president, and a couple of days ago, I had a meeting with the Ghanaian president. Obviously, we discussed the situation in Niger. The UK government's priority remains the safety of British nationals and helping them get out of the country to safety.
Well, helping them to get out to safety, that is always the first priority of the West. Get their citizen out to safety and then let the bazooka start raining, as we saw in Sudan. Well, some of you might be also lucky to be evacuated if you have a British passport and you are, in Nigeria, or you're in that part of that world. You might also be rescued. But let us remind ourselves, like the speaker said, I have told you 2 years ago, Nigeria is at the verge of breakup. I think I have one more video from the FCDO. Maybe it's the same thing or maybe not. Let's hear what he has to say. So it's almost the same thing with Anthony Blinken. They are on the same path. They speak to each other. Their stand is let ECOWAS go in and fight. Let's hear from him again. It's coming up. Let's go. No. I don't want you to go too far. Just give me the video alone. Once again, as we are now winding down, we're just 2 hours on the dot. As I said, we don't want the video to be more than 2 hours, and it's already late in the house as well. Let's hear him again here.
I'm here in Nigeria. I just had a meeting with the Nigerian president, and a couple of days ago, I had a meeting with the Ghanaian president. Obviously, we discussed the situation in Niger. The UK government's priority remains the safety of British nationals and helping them get out of the country to safety. I'm here in Nigeria. I just had a...
That is the of the British. Get our citizen out, and that's the important thing. Thank you so much to everyone. I can, like I said, these analyses will still be well breakdown, especially what the US government is saying. I will continue to monitor the United Nations. If I pick up anything, be rest assured you will hear it from me. Follow us on Twitter. I don't normally say people should share, but I've been told that is not good to say, but mostly follow us on Twitter. Once again, there's a lot going on in the world, but we remain very focused on our own quest to self-determination. As Dagburu has done her own, she has gone. Remember also, like I said earlier on the Niger Voices, the letter purported by Nnamdi Kanu, just disregard that nonsense. It's all divide and rule by the Fulani working. If you think that the Fulani has left Aso Rock, you must be wasting your time. They are still in Aso Rock. Tinubu is just a puppet that was kept there. And like I said, the real owner of Nigeria have traveled to Niger, Sultan of Sokoto, and Gowon. The two individuals knows more than even himself. As much as Tinubu is the president, he might not even know what is going on. So on that note, I couldn't touch on the topic I told you I was going to discuss, which someone sent to me. 61 billion pounds is what the UK government and the Gulf country, they are now on the fourth stage. I will be discussing that and asking the question. This is the reason why they don't want us to break Nigeria, because we will have a new relationship with the UK, not the one that they have right now. And I'm going to share the link. It says here, Trade UK Gulf Cooperation Council FTA statement on the fourth round of negotiations for a free trade agreement between the UK and the Gulf Cooperation Council. Their citizens will come into the UK and they will leave, but we will want to come to UK as Biafrans, as Igbos, as Yoruba. You will not get the visa because we are not the real owner of the trade in Nigeria. But when we dissolve Nigeria, have a sovereign nation, trust me, they will respect us as a citizen, not the one that they will tell you, we can't give you a visa and you cannot even get a refund. The fourth round of negotiation for the free trade agreement between the UK and the Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC, took place between the 17th and the 28th of July. The round was hosted in London, held in an hybrid fashion. A number of the GCC negotiators traveled to London for in-person discussion, with the others attended virtually. Drafted treaty text was advanced across the majority of the charter. Technically, discussions were held across 23 policy areas over 44 sections. Good progress was made. Both sides remained committed to securing an ambitious, comprehensive, and a modern agreement. Take note of that word, modern agreement. We don't have a modern agreement with them. What we have is the analog, because they are the ones still in charge behind the scene. They just put the puppet government out there. But today, they have a modern agreement that fits the 21st century between the UK and the GCC. The GCC is equivalent to the UK's 7th largest export market, and the total trade is worth about 61.3 billion pounds sterling, according to the latest figure. And FTA will be a substantial economic opportunity and a significant moment in the UK GCC relationship. Government analysts show that in the long run, a deal with the GCC is expected to increase trade by at least 16%. Why can't we have a new relationship with the UK as a new sovereign nation, Yoruba nation, modern innovation, Biafra nation, and we'll be signing a 21st century trade deal with the UK government? But the one they are signing now, nobody knows, how much Olori Buruku Obasanjo have sold out, Gowon have sold out. They've literally sold Nigeria, and that's why they are scared for the dissolution of Nigeria. But whether we like it or not, I am looking forward to Sunday, when the first boom will go up, and then the next boom will happen on the other side, and the Yoruba people will start asking questions. It is time for us to go. Thank you so much, everyone. My name is Olami Koiki. I hope you've enjoyed the program. If you have done, tell somebody else to join us again, where we'll be back tomorrow. Igbowo must be given his lift of the embargo. His mother have died, just as the government killed the mother of Nnamdi Kanu and the father. We know that. We will continue to pray for both of them, but you can play your role while I'm playing mine. To my beautiful mother, thank you so much. The real owner of Nigeria is Sultan of Sokoto. I told you this 2 years ago, but since I'm not BBC and CNN, you're waiting for them to tell you that. Sultan of Sokoto took president aircraft to Niger for something that probably they are even aware that Tinubu never knew. Thank you so much, Orayola Masun. Sorry I can't bring anybody in again. That's how far I can go. We're just 8 minutes behind as well. And on that note, I say Olayomi Koiki is the name. Koikimedia is the platform. I see my Axoba. Thank you so much for joining. And I'll be back again tomorrow with the Star Radio UK at 11 o'clock. Checking out now. Orayola Masun. Bye for now, everybody. Good night.